Okay, time to revisit this kit for the Area 51. I mean, full denial. It's not going to happen. Top secret squirrel, big midget proxy, which we're not doing. Well, here we are again with this old favorite that Atlantis is re-released. Really happy that they are continuing to bring out some of the old monogram models. They've done a lot in 132, the Firebirds, the Camaros, and to see this kit, the #1 kit, brought back to life, well, it's pretty historic, really. This is a great kit. Originally from 1954, their first effort. It's went through different box art, different shapes and sizes over the years, but basically it's all been the same kit. We've built plenty of them before. Just a simplistic model kit, nothing fancy. Old directions here, and that was it. Basically for you to put it together themselves. Kit number PC1, just in case you were curious. So it's great to see Atlantis bring it back so that we have it again. They've included some really nice decals with it. I really like that. That goes a long way in the value for a lot of folks out there. And the updated instructions, again, basically a lot the same, as you can see from back then to now, just a little bit brighter, but also um, on the back side here, some nice artwork here for suggestions for your build. I think that's pretty cool, motivating. Atlantis, they just know what they're doing, and they care, obviously, about this kit. So really glad to see it come back. We're going to get started on it right away. Nothing crazy. We're just going to get into the Giant Midget racing, and the race that officially is not officially and very top secret. Almost we can't talk about it out at Area 51, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, let's have some fun with this kit. As far as assembly goes for a slot car kit, well, it is pretty simplistic, and we're going to use most of the kit here. Not all of it, of course, but most of it. And my design isn't going to depart from ones in the past or the ones that you've seen building already, George and Dave. It's all pretty simplistic. We have our body together here. You do have some flash molding and some gaps right here. You're going to have to clean up, sand that down, make it smooth. Maybe a little primer, it'll disappear. And then we're going to take the bottom out, of course, to make room for our chassis. As far as the rest of the design goes, you're kind of lucky with this kit. A lot of people just like to mimic the bars that they've had in the kit, that you see in the photos, and it's right here for you to follow. So just pick the correct size wire, whether you're going to use brass or steel, and you have your examples right here. And well, it just doesn't get much easier than that. And that's pretty much what we're going to do. I'm not going to get really fancy with anything, just the old tried and true designs that you've seen in the past. So basically the bottom is cut away. You don't want to go too far, leaving just a little bit of that curvature right there on each side. And you'll be able to adjust this, fine tune it once you get your chassis design, 100% there. You know where you're going to go with that. But right now that it's all opened up, that's exactly what we're going to do. We've just got this glued together, and now it's time to build our chassis. And with your chassis design, you want to know what your width is going to be. I'm just using the parts right out of the kit. We're just going to match that up, and it's just right around 2 3/4. So now you know your width. Now you can cut your axle tubes, set your rear accordingly. So for this build, I went with 1/8 bore, and I've also chose the rib wheels. So I'm going to do CBD 1650. These are the narrow insert wheels, of course, 1/8 bore, and they are ribbed. So that means I'm going to need the 2812 5s from Paul Gage for the rear, because that is for the ribbed wheel. And then I'm going to do 2612 5 for the fronts. I think that'll look pretty good, especially after we contour them in the sander. So I've got this set up right there at the right width. Now we can cut the tube. And to get that width, we're using stock number 128. Of course, the K&S round tubing. I'm going with the round, and we're looking at right around 40 millimeter. That'll get it just where you want it. If not, take a file it down, because remember, that's right, it's easier to take away than it is to add to. All right, so I cut this tubing the same as the front, except I'm going to allow the thickness of the flanges here on the bushings, and the bushings in question, the JKU 27 3/16 by 1/8 on the Coford axles, 1/8 axles. I like this quality, just never failed me yet. Anyway, you have to accommodate for the thickness there, and that will increase the width to right at about 42. We'll just call it 42 millimeter. So just slightly wider than the front, which to me, I think that looks pretty good for these cars. If you don't like that and you want them perfectly even, just go ahead and follow your tube down, do it by hand, and just adjust the width accordingly. But I like this look. Plus, I've written everything down here on my setup block because I have a feeling this isn't going to be the first one I'll be doing. So over the front of the body, we have to grind it out a little bit in order for it to fit over the tubing for our front axle. And I'm just using the 1/8 milling bit, Dremel milling bit, and just carefully going up as far as the notch goes, and then using it just to fine tune it just a little bit to make sure that the tubing nice and free when it goes in there. Here's the other side as a comparison. So you're just going to use your Dremel, your milling bit, and you're only going to go that high where it's already marked. So I've already done this side. Don't be, you just can't be afraid to do it. Just have to get in here, and then you can fine tune the sides a little bit at a time. And what do we always do? That's right, we always test fit. So once you do that a little bit, then get your tubing and just test fit. Make sure you're free and clear, and it's going to slip over there easily. So just doing a quick mock-up here, I put the Paul Gauge 2612 5 tires on the car. Just doing a quick mock-up here, I put the Paul Gauge 2612 5 tires on the front. That's the size I said I was going to use here, the 28s in the rear. But I'm just doing a quick mock-up. The body is completely touching the ground all the way around and still have that clearance. That's what I'm looking for. Now, of course, the body is going to be raised up with the chassis design. I just wanted to make sure that we sanded far enough. And like I said, if you sand too far, that's okay. The body is going to come up a little bit and you can see the notch, but it's not going to take away from the look of the car. So for the rear, we're going to use the larger 8130 brass tube that we used in other builds. So that means just a little bit bigger opening than the front, using a 1/8 milling bit here in the Dremel, and it looks pretty good to me. Yeah, plenty of clearance. Here's the other side, just as a comparison. Just stay right here in the middle, go all the way up, don't go past that, and you will be good to go. Okay, simple enough chassis to pin out. I used number 503 K&S wire 055, a little heavier than usual. I just wanted to make sure we had enough strength, and I think that'll be good enough. I have one on the outside, one on the inside, as you can see here, to hold the front axle and set everything in place. Strong enough to me. Of course, we still have our guide tongue to build. We'll get to that later. The wheelbase, well, it is what it is based on the body. This one just, right on 96.65. But like I said, when you're doing the scratch building, custom fitting them to a body, the wheelbase, well, it's going to be what it's going to be. And there we have it. We have what you call a roller. Just a quick recap. Say just real simple chassis. Just take your time, adjusting the body, and you'll have it lined up in no time. Piece of cake. Again, the wheels, 1650 CB design on all four corners, going with the ribbed 1/8 bore, 28-12-5 Paul gauge in the rear, the taller diameter here, and the 26-12-5 in the front. We still have some tire trimming to do. And of course, the new narrow CB design bracket for builds like this, really going to come in handy. Anyway, I hope this helps you guys just a little bit. Still have a lot of work to do, have the guide to build, and of course all the modeling, but just wanted to do a quick recap on just the basic chassis. It's something I know you guys can do, and I look forward to seeing yours.